And you're welcome to the news here on News Central. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now we begin with updates on the death of the Pope. The Vatican has announced that Pope Francis' funeral will be held on Saturday, 26 April at 10 a.m. local time in front of St. Peter's Basilica. The late pontiff will be moved to the Basilica on Wednesday morning, where his body will lie in state for public viewing until the burial. The Pope, who served for 12 years, is currently laid out in a coffin at the Santa Marta residence. His decision to be buried at the Basilica of St. Mary Major rather than in the traditional Vatican crypt marks a significant break from papal tradition. Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re will lead the funeral mass, which will conclude with a final commendation. According to Vatican custom, the conclave to elect a successor will follow the funeral. Now, predicting the outcome of the highest secretive papal conclave is notoriously difficult, with cardinals shifting alliances and strategic voting complicating any predictions. As the Catholic Church prepares to select the successor to Pope Francis, several key candidates have emerged. Here, News Central's international correspondent Afia Hagen takes a look at the frontrunners.
In Vatican City, speculation is swirling over who might next lead the world's 1.3 billion Catholics. So, who are the frontrunners? Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Italy's 70-year-old Secretary of State, is seen as a moderate continuity candidate closely aligned with Pope Francis. Parolin has handled delicate negotiations, notably with China, earning both praise as a diplomat and criticism as a pragmatist. Luis Antonio Tagle from the Philippines, aged 67, could become the first Asian pope. Once considered Pope Francis's preferred successor, Tagle champions a more compassionate stance on social issues, but retains conservative views on abortion. From Ghana, 76-year-old Peter Turkson could make history as the first black pope in centuries. He's recognized for advocating action on climate change and economic justice, whilst maintaining traditional church positions, albeit with softened views on homosexuality. Hungary's Péter Edro, at 72, represents the conservative wing. Known for strict adherence to doctrine, Erdo has openly opposed some of Pope Francis's progressive initiatives, aligning closely with nationalist ideologies. Italian Cardinal Matteo Zuppi, aged 69, appointed by Pope Francis, leans progressive, notably engaging diplomatically as the Vatican peace envoy to Ukraine. He's liberal regarding social issues and committed to addressing poverty and marginalization. Portugal's José Talentino Salasa de Mendonça, aged just 59, is admired for modernizing attitudes, but may be seen as too young by fellow cardinals, wary of delaying their own chances. Mario Grech from Malta, aged 68, initially conservative, has evolved to support progressive reforms, including roles for women within the church and criticism of restrictive European migration policies. Pier Battista Pizzaballa, aged 60, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, gained international attention by offering himself as a hostage in Gaza to free children, marking him as a compassionate leader, but leaving his stance on controversial issues largely unknown. Lastly, Guinea's Robert Serra, aged 79, is a staunch traditionalist, outspoken against gender ideology and Islamic fundamentalism, and would also represent a historic choice as the first black pope in modern history. With no clear frontrunner, the conclave's decision remains uncertain, echoing the surprise election of Pope Francis himself in 2013. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagen.
Now, residents displaced by insecurity in Katsina Ala local government area calling for decisive steps to be taken to mitigate incessant attacks which have plagued the local government and surrounding local governments as well. Speaking on the heels of a recent attack in neighboring Zaki Biam and Logo local government areas, the residents are calling on the federal government to intervene to restore peace and security in the troubled areas.
Our family one family na moya musono mumene wa ahi hituni bushira katini mbuna wasise la gashin una ngwa le asia una tindi una kele va security eva nase ga higen mo emlu ki ya wa mfa choka ha kwa ga mo we wa chi si fa choka samba ke ha chula no je fulani gboro ha kala gomate kwa ne ga ha chu peru wa sera gomate zahega mom ne ga gomate ga kai wa se chi we se ga gomate da duo he na wa se se me yang me as more security person ya semba ji ya me na se ji ina se security hin shika me na se security hin mandibata me na se security shi aba na ha masuru free ba security ke mo za ya da na ya shi chin shi hide ye hide ya ma yo ba we nyo so want to
problem was so suruwa mi hita ne ya ka fulani samba za yo mama samba fulani to kala ya kala tega kasa ya ka fulani da gbe sekere si fato da irin tonga sa ya ka fulani ba no se bitin da sekere wo se gbin yanga kasa ya tu pasi fulani da wo se duma bi hanya.
Correspondent Sagir Ibrahim now joins us live. Sagir, good afternoon or rather good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here this evening. Now, Sagir, I'm hoping you can hear us. I'm going to go ahead and ask, what are the residents saying about the state of security in those areas? If you could tell us any more from what we've just seen from on the screens now.
Good evening, Mazino. Good evening to our viewers. This is, of course, a sad situation for a lot of them who are residents in these areas. The Sankara axis that comprises 3 local governments, Katsina, Ala, Ukum, and also Logo local government, all of which have unfortunately not been strangers to the incessant attacks of what they describe, of course, non-state actors, headsmen. We're currently standing at the Wukari-Takum Expressway. This way is usually busy as a result of the fact that it traverses to different states, including Adamawa and also Taraba State. Of course, Logo and also Ukum local governments can be accessed using this stretch of road, which is 45 minutes and also an hour and 30 minutes respectively. Now, I don't know if it's possible for my cameraman to zoom forward. You would see ahead of me sort of a checkpoint just ahead. There is the presence of a police official and, of course, also vigilantes. This makeshift checkpoint, if you permit me to call it that, is visible across, this road and, of course, other parts. It might interest you to know that when we were coming into Katsina Ala from Boko earlier in the day, we counted nothing less than 17 checkpoints up until this point. So it gives you sort of an idea of how many more checkpoints is going to be around this axis, especially considering the fact that, there were recent attacks in these communities. So this gives you a feel of what the situation is like. Now, back to the residents. They've complained that, of course, this has not been the first time that attacks has been going on. Of course, recently it was in Logo and Ukum, but Katsina Ala is no stranger to this attack. They're calling on the federal government to intervene. Of course, they say they know that the Benue State government has been doing quite the much that it can in the past, but unfortunately, this time they are saying the federal government has to intervene to stop the incessant killing and, of course, to bring peace to this location, to this surrounding, Sankara, to be precise, in order for peace to reign and in order for them to continue, of course, with their lives and their livelihoods.
Okay, Sage, have we had any new developments regarding the recent attacked communities in Ukum and local government areas?
So for Ukum and Logo local governments, we tried reaching out to the local government chairman of these local governments with an intention to actually reach them, speak with them and also get sort of an on-the-spot assessment of what the situation is like. But unfortunately, because of the volatility of these areas, one cannot be too careful. So we got responses from the chairman of Logo local government, who mentioned to us that he was invited, of course, back to another meeting in the state capital by the governor of the state, Governor Hyacinth Alia. But unfortunately, that meeting is not one that's open, of course, to media coverage. However, he has assured us that he would be giving us access, of course, to this local government, so we could see for ourselves, reach these communities, see what the true situation is with regards to how much damage was done, and of course, reach the IDP camps where some of these individuals are currently temporarily located until some form of peace is returned to their communities, to their surroundings, and to areas that have recorded attacks in the most recent times.
Okay, so give us an assessment of the mood and feel of your location, the people there, the residents.
Well, it's one of caution, Mazino, I must say. Everybody looks and takes a second look just to be sure, that they are safe, their surrounding is safe, and their community is safe. I cannot count how many times, while we're traversing around the community, people had come out just to take another look and be sure, okay, who are these guys? Where are they from? We had instances where people approached us, even during interviews, to find out what's going on, what are you talking about? Let's be sure what the situation is. So I would say that everybody is quite security conscious and security aware. Save for the fact that there's a bit of traffic on the road, quite a number of shops that are around Katsina Ala. This axis that we are currently closed. A lot of them have gone home, closed their businesses. Of course, just being conscious about the situations of things and trying to avoid, of course, stories that touch. So that's basically the situation. People have their eyes open and are trying the best that they can to be safe and to ensure personal security and individual security.
Well, okay then, Sagir Ibrahim, we ask that you be safe as well, and thank you for the report.
Thank you for having me.
Now we're going to break, and when we get back, a family blames husband over Delta Governor's aide Shemite Bello's death. We'll give you the details. We'll return shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now, the family of late Love Shemite, the special advisor to Sheriff Ogbovori, governor of Delta State on trade and export, has blamed her husband for her death. Shemite died in the early hours of Monday. The police spokesperson in Delta, Brighter Daffy, said the deceased's husband called the police to report that his wife fell ill and died on Monday morning. Daffy said Shemite's husband informed the police that his wife's family members are allegedly threatening his life for being responsible for the death. The deceased family had lodged a complaint with the police alleging that the husband might have played a role in Shemite's death. However, the Delta police spokesperson said the domestic violence allegations are mere social media propaganda, but assured that an autopsy would be conducted to ascertain the actual cause of the deceased's death. Now, despite the existence of legal frameworks aimed at safeguarding children's rights, significant obstacles persist in their effective implementation, particularly concerning access to justice and adequate protection from harm. News Central's correspondent Igbalani Omoni illuminates the issue of unlawful arrests, detentions, and the violation of child rights in Nigeria, utilizing the recent detention and subsequent release of Quadri Alabi, the Labour Party's poster child, as a case study.
According to a recent report by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, over 1.6 million children in Nigeria are currently awaiting trial, with many being held in detention centers for extended periods without access to legal representation or due process. The case of 17-year-old Alabi Quadri, who was freed after several months in detention, serves as a stark reminder of the injustice faced by countless Nigerian youths.
The police will simply say, even without any shred of evidence, charge the matter to court. Let the court decide. That is their language. Charge the case to court. It's not at the police station that you tell us whether you are innocent or guilty. And this is happening every single day. And that explains why the custodial centers are congested. But I also agree that on the part of the court, the magistrates have not done enough.
Human rights organizations have long decried the widespread practice of arbitrary arrests and prolonged pre-trial detentions, particularly for minors.
The working group found that an alarming high number of inmates in the custodial centers under review were without legal representation. The Honorable Attorney General of the Federation is invited to note that although the Legal Aid Council of Nigeria is mandated to provide free legal services to inmates without legal representation, it is presently under-resourced.
Statistics from the Nigerian Prison Service reveal that as of March 2025, 67% of the total prison population consisted of individuals awaiting trial, many of whom were minors. Implications of such, experts say, are far-reaching.
If you look at Section 34 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015, gives power to magistrate court, chief magistrate court, to inspect detentional facility, including the police cell, to see to determine if the people are held rightfully or not. And at the same time, if there is no divisional cell, if there's no chief magistrate in that particular area, the chief judge appoints a magistrate. That is one of the reforms. Then two, there should be an accountability of officers on the people they arrest.
Legal expert and advocacy groups have called upon the Nigerian government to prioritize reforms within the criminal justice system, ensuring that children's rights are protected and that due process is upheld. They say it is important to address these systematic issues and work towards creating a just and equitable system that upholds the principles of human dignity and justice for all. In Lagos for News Central, Igbalani Omani.
In 2005, Chinedu Eze, a special driver attached to a transport company in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, was wrongly accused of a crime he didn't commit. What followed was a harrowing 14-year journey through Nigeria's justice system as an awaiting trial inmate. Now a free man, Eze says that he has chosen a path of healing and forgiveness, not just for himself, but for those behind his ordeal. Our correspondent Idong Joseph brings us the story.
At 46, Chinedu Eze and his family, his wife and his daughter, live a quiet life in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Behind his gentle smile is a past marked by trauma and injustice.
Sometimes in 2005, some Nigeria police officers framed me up and took me to a police station, and from police station to prison. And I was in prison for awaiting trial for 14 years.
Before it all began, he worked as a driver, a job that took him across many states of the country, helping his company's clients to move vehicles across long distances. One of such assignments to Sokoto in late 2004 will mark the beginning of a long nightmare.
We have already gotten to Sokoto, and then we met police checking points. They intercepted us, requesting for the particulars of the vehicle, and then the man handed them over the particulars of the vehicle. After going through the particulars, they come back and demanded for custom duty of the vehicle. So the man said, it is not your duty to demand for custom duty of the vehicle because you are not a custom. And the police said, are you teaching me my job? The other police that was escorting the man could not do anything based on numbers. It was the only one, while the police on checking point were about 7. So he couldn't do anything. They rough-handled the man there and then dragged him to put inside their vehicle and asked me to drive the vehicle and follow them behind.
What started as an argument later led to the death of the vehicle owner and the plot that saw Chinedu falsely accused of murder alongside a police escort he barely knew.
But I will have to make a statement that they want me to make. I said, okay, what is the statement? He said that the statement is that the other policeman who escorted the vehicle, because they had an exchange of words with him very well, that the other policeman who escorted the vehicle on the way killed the owner of the vehicle. That was when I knew that the owner of the vehicle was dead.
What followed was a disturbing ordeal, with no chance to speak in court, no lawyer to defend the allegations, just a charge and 14 years of silence.
When we got to that court, they started reading the charge that you, Mr. Chinedu Eze, conspired with this policeman to kill the owner of this vehicle in order to steal his vehicle. I say me. In the court, I say me. I say no. I say Judge, I didn't even allow them to finish reading. As soon as I heard that, I told the judge, I say it's a lie. So I started disturbing the court. The judge said no. The court has rules. I should calm down. If it is not true, I will just say it's not true. When they ask me whether I'm guilty or not, I say okay.
Behind bars, Chinedu's world collapsed. He lost his home and possessions. His daughter, just 6 months at the time, grew up without him. His fiancée waited for 2 years and then moved on.
Before I came out, she was already married to another man with 4 children. I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost my properties. I lost relationships. In fact, everything that I've worked for, I lost them.
In 2019, he was finally acquitted, free but no longer the same man. Chinedu found purpose in his pain. Today, he runs a grassroots NGO, helping former inmates to rebuild their lives.
My experience was not strange in the prison, as thousands of them are in the same shoe with me. So when I come out, my focus was, what can I do to change these narratives? And I decided to establish the Chinedu Eze Foundation that I told you about. That's what I'm doing now.
He's remarried, a father once again, yet the scars of 14 lost years remain, hidden beneath his calm exterior. While Chinedu's story is one out of many awaiting trials in correctional facilities across the country, the question is, what should be done to hasten justice, as justice delayed is regarded as justice denied?
I know of a country in Europe like Belgium where once a criminal is arrested, they keep trying them on the daily. Within 1 month, 2 months, you discover that this person that was just arrested a few days ago has been found guilty or has been set free, something. So if you can borrow a leaf from that.
From wrongful imprisonment to rebuilding lives, Chinedu's journey is not just one of survival, but of strength, service, silent triumph, and inspiration. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Now, prominent Christian leaders have raised concerns over the continued killings of Christians in northern Nigeria, saying Christians in the north need the empathy of their counterparts in the south to keep faith in God. Speaking at a concert to raise funds for victims of insurgency in northern Nigeria, organized by the Foundation of Truth Assembly Church in Lagos, the leaders, including Pastor Yomi Kasali, convener of the concert, Pastor Ayo Orisejafo, senior pastor of Word of Life Bible Church, among other ministers, say awareness needed to be created on the plight of victims of insurgency in the northern region. The concert also had in attendance some widows from the northern region who narrated how they lost their husbands to attacks and the harsh reality they face taking care of the children alone.
This cross charity is more relevant now than ever before, especially as we witness killings in north-central Nigeria, in Plateau, in Benue, a menace that has gone on almost annually for over 30 years. I urge all present today, whether you represent a ministry or not, to become financial partners with the cross charity.
So the church in the south just had an handshake with the church in the north, trying to see what we can do as an intervention to support the cause of humanity, not just Christianity. So it's beyond a Christian cause, it's a cause for humanity. We've got to wake up as a people. We don't have guns, we can't fight back with bullets. What we can do is to fight back through our own humanitarian interventions, which is cross charity.
If nothing is done to stop this thing, we will just be gathering widows. We'll be paying school fees. So is that what the church will do forever? So the whole church in the north will just be filled with widows and orphans. The truth is, I will say to you, very clear, very plain, simple, defend yourself.
And that's all the news for this hour. Now, to remember, you can send your eyewitness reports to WhatsApp number displayed on your screens now. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Apio.